Yes, this is Dustin Dooley. This is my Module 5 Encourage the Heart assignment. Start with the articles that I read for the research. The first article I researched was titled Scaling the Pyramid of Self-Reflection, a Model and an Assignment for the Preparation of Inclusive Leaders. This article was written by Angela Webster Smith. The article was taken out of the Journal of Educational Leadership Preparation, Volume 6, Number 1, January to March of 2011. The intent of the article is to provide strategies and establish a framework to help school leaders recognize the importance of self-reflection in effective leadership and provide a method for self-evaluation that is purposeful, productive, and practical. The article described the 8 components of the pyramid for self-reflection. Before describing each stage of the pyramid, there are several items pertaining to reflection that are important to share. In the article, it discussed the conceptual framework for reflection. Reflection is a meaning-making process that moves an individual from one experience to the next with deeper understanding of its relationships and connections to other experiences and ideas. Reflection is a rigorous way of thinking. Reflection helps school leaders think about their experiences. Reflection is also vital for maximizing the meaning and lessons of life's experiences. Before leaders focus on organizational change, they must be willing to continuously undergo reflection that attends personal change. Individual improvement must accompany school improvement. School leaders must adopt a routine of practice of reflection to ensure that their beliefs, worldviews, and values are consistent with optimal 21st century school leadership. If districts are to move their schools forward, they must move beyond blame and excuses. Reflection also must be promoted as a social experience among learning communities. 2 quotes that I found to be interesting in the Pyramid of Self-Reflection article that I read was in 2009, Arne Duncan, U.S. Secretary of Education, stated, "Education is a daily fight for social justice while it promotes opportunity and reduces inequality. Every child is entitled to a quality public education regardless of race, creed, or zip code." Another quote that I found to be interesting was made by John Dewey in 1933. He stated that reflective educators do not accept current principles and repeated practice without questioning the status quo. They seek to improve efficiency and effectiveness for the individual, group, and society. I think that quote is important, particularly as we are working to transform our public education system. Understanding the pyramid of self-reflection is an important entity in becoming an inclusive leader. The pyramid of self-reflection model stems from the perception that without self-examination, individuals are unlikely to sort through and acknowledge the underpinnings of their life experiences. Reflectivity needs to be deconstructed and analyzed in ways that are comprehensively organized, systematic, and constructive. The self-reflection model is a pyramid with a large base that narrows as one ascends to the top of the pyramid. This is a picture of the self-reflection model. It starts at the bottom with heart, and as we move up, thoughts, emotions, attitudes, words, actions, habits, and character. I think it's important that all these other traits all begin with the heart. Now I'm going to start discussing each of these traits that I demonstrated to you on the picture that I just showed you. The heart, or the bottom of the pyramid, is the human spirit. It houses the belief system and is the place from which intentions and motivations emanate. Beliefs can be true or false, or truthful or not. The accuracy of beliefs determine the remaining steps in the pyramid. The heart consists of beliefs, faith, intuition, hunches, etc. It determines which ideas, concepts, models, and theories one will embrace, as well as those one will discard. The next part of the pyramid is thoughts. When information is believed and accepted as truth, the thought moves forward and becomes a theory in use. Sound thoughts are critical to decision-making judgments. Next is emotion. In 1995, Goldman promoted the concept of emotional intelligence as personal and social competencies that are so important that they might be the largest single predictor of success in the workplace. Emotional intelligence determines how well one understands others and relates to them, and how well one copes with daily demands, challenges, and pressures. Emotions play a vital role in success if they are managed appropriately and effectively. However, emotion is unlikely to be successful without a well-examined heart. Attentiveness to one's beliefs and thoughts helps identify and predict emotions. Up next is attitudes. Emotions, whether positive or negative, influence one's attitudes or state of mind, mood, temperament, and dispositions. Attitudes are expressed through one's pitch and tone of voice, and or through body language such as facial expressions, gestures, and postures. Next is words. Words are powerful because they convey images and messages. They are carriers that can hearten or demoralize, lift or deflate. In summary, words are powerful. Words spoken from abundance of the heart reveal the good or bad treasures of the heart. The power of words affect one's actions. As school leaders, we must communicate throughout the day, orally and in writing. Being watchful of the convictions of the heart is important, as corresponding thoughts, emotions, attitudes, and actions are sure to follow. Words shape behavior, the way people conduct themselves and the things they accomplish straight away, in stages, or through frequent repetition. Words will likely impact the health of the school's culture. Actions. The strength of the words compel individuals to take actions. Words, whether oral or written, command action. The last two traits in the pyramid of self-reflection is habits and character. Habits are learned. They are settled tendencies and manners of behavior that have become fixed through reoccurrence. Unfortunately, when forming habits, one tends to engage in self-analysis and often with limited access to their causes. And at the top of the pyramid of self-reflection is character. Character is the ability to meet the demands of reality. Character is the aggregate of distinguishing features and attributes that represent fairness, integrity, and adherence to moral and ethical codes. It speaks to the morals that govern one's life as much as it represents one's moral and ethical strength. In summary, this article did a nice job in describing the importance of self-reflection in the life of a school leader. By consistently using the self-reflection pyramid, school leaders are able to understand the importance of their actions and words. However, what was most intriguing is that at the bottom of the pyramid, where everything starts, it begins with the heart and the spirit of the leader. The second piece of research I completed was out of a periodical titled Leadership Excellence, the Magazine of Leadership Development, Managerial Effectiveness, and Organizational Productivity, Volume 29, Number 3, March 2012. This periodical is one of the best resources I have found for leadership thought and theory. The articles were short, and because of this, I'm going to share research from two separate articles that I read in the periodical. Both articles center on inclusive leadership and leading from the heart. The first article in the periodical is titled Inclusive Leadership, Effectively Leading Diverse Teams. This article discussed the differences between inclusive leaders and egocentric leaders. In addition, the article also discussed some of the key characteristics of inclusive leaders. Here are some key points taken from the article. Leadership is about engaging and energizing people and inspiring them to give their best, to stretch, to achieve, and to excel. Inclusive leadership is energizing and motivating. Each employee feels authentically valued and respected and engaged in achieving a shared vision. Inclusive leaders enable their people to feel like owners of the system, like they have a stake in its future. By acting as owners, team members can leverage the diverse perspectives and approaches to enhance learning and growth. One of the key questions presented in the article was, how can a leader engender a sense of inclusion in the face of such diversity in the workplace? The answer is that people feel included when they belong to meaningful groups and are accepted as insiders and not outsiders by others. and can access information, resources, and networks for effective job performance, and have the chance to influence decisions and to develop and advance. The second part of the article discussed behaviors that leaders engage in. First behavior is that inclusive leaders authentically value and respect all individuals for their talents and contributions. In order to accomplish this, inclusive leaders must be aware of their own stereotypes, biases, and mental models, hold others accountable for disrespectful behavior, show a commitment to diversity in hiring, advancement, compensation, and retention practices. The second behavior that leaders engage in is actively engaging in a high engagement culture by encouraging the input and initiative of all employees. In order to accomplish this, these leaders must monitor their own behaviors to ensure that they treat all opinions equally and respectfully. By their words and actions, leaders should promote team relations that are fair, democratic, supportive, and welcoming of all questions and challenges. Although this article, the second article in the period, by engaging in these two inclusive practices, school leaders can bring out the best of people, energize them, encourage collaboration, and support initiative and innovative contributions from all individuals. In conclusion, this article did an excellent job of describing the key qualities of inclusive leaders. Due to time, I'm not going to be able to share the second article I read. However, I will go through it just slightly. The second article was on leading with emotional intelligence, which I felt fit nicely into the encourage the heart and inclusive leadership. Part 2, applying inclusive leadership. As a first-year principal, I learned a lot about leadership and school policy. Unfortunately, I cannot say that I'm a fully inclusive leader. After researching inclusive leadership and studying the material from the text, I think I have a good understanding of the qualities of inclusive leadership. As a principal, one of my main objectives is for my staff and I to create a shared vision that guides the day-to-day processes of our organization. As I reflect back to my first year as a principal, I do not think I communicated the vision for our school as well as I should have. Nor did I take into account the diversity on my staff and developing a shared vision for the school district. In June, our Building Improvement Committee met and developed our school improvement plan for the 14-15 school year. In addition to the plan, we discussed our belief statements. Last year, I would have taken upon myself, and only myself, to share these goals and objectives. In order to be a more inclusive leader, I have asked my Building Improvement Committee to write a short summary for the local newspaper and to present our school's vision at the first faculty meeting. I attempted to involve more people with different diversities into the process. On the screen are some ways that school leadership can be applied, inclusive leadership can be applied into the school leadership model. I think two separate ways in using inclusive leadership can be done through evaluating instructional staff. In my opinion, inclusive leadership as a public school administrator entails thinking positively, praising your students and staff, allowing others to contribute and provide feedback, creating a shared vision with your staff, and holding people accountable to expectations. It is also my belief to be an inclusive leader, one must have great character and demonstrate this character on a daily basis. Part 3, challenges of inclusive leadership. There are several challenges to being an inclusive leader. Some of these challenges that I foresee in public school administration are aligning a diverse group of people to one specific goal related to vision and purpose, personal awareness of one's own stereotypes, biases, and weaknesses, delegating responsibility and allowing others to make crucial school improvement decisions when it is ultimately your responsibility as a leader, taking the time to continuously reflect on different experiences, staying continuously positive while being faced with stress, pressure, and fatigue, finding ways to continuously encourage, motivate, and have employees take ownership in their profession, strengthening employees' self-confidence, ensuring individual accountability through the organization. I'm not sure if these inclusive leadership traits would be a challenge for everyone or not. As I reflect back on the coursework and the different theories and traits of inclusive leadership, these happen to be some traits I would find myself struggling to achieve on a daily basis if I did not make an effort to do.